According to his advocate, Pretorius wanted the opportunity to defend himself against allegations made by Witness D during his testimony at the Madlanga Commission last year. Pretorius was determined to spill the beans on the podcast interview that was booked with Isaac.
It looks like Mr. Wiandre Pretorius, before he unalived himself, he was about to blow the whistle, because his legal representative, as well as the podcaster that he was about to go and have an interview with, came and spilled the beans with regards to what Mr. Pretorius was about to reveal. In this video, I wanted us to look at these revelations that have been made by this podcaster as well as his legal representatives, especially after yesterday Matiphandile applied, or after yesterday we heard Matiphandile's bail application, and there's a lot of crucial information that was revealed during the bail application that I think it's important for us to actually look at this version of the legal representative as well as the podcaster.
Ek het met hom gepraat, ek het hom sê luister, dit is iets wat hier gaan gebeur. Hy het vir my gesê hy kan nie wag om dit te doen nie. Hy wil hierdie goeters uitkry wat met hom aan die gang is. En daarbey het hy nie bedoel hy wil praat oor wat hy weet van die ander voorvalle van Witness D en hy goed, want hy het niks geweet nie.
So we know that last year during the month of December, Mr. Marius van der Merwe, Witness D, was unalived. And this action happened immediately after his testimony at the Madlanga Commission, especially days after the Madlanga Commission. And at that time, it was not clear as to why he was unalived. Other people said it's because of what he was about to reveal when he wanted to have an exclusive interview with ENCA, where he said that he wanted to expose what was going on with the Zamazamas. Others were saying it was in connection to his testimony at the Madlanga Commission, because he revealed very crucial and sensitive information regarding an unaliving of a man called Emmanuel Mbense.
I picked up a wooden table leg that was broken from inside the room, held his legs down with it as to not touch him with my hands as he was wet. Wiandre then continued tubing him with the one unknown Brakpan SAPS member helping to hold him down, while the other was searching the drawers, etc. I got up and left the room. The other people were still searching the room. It was quite clear, or the house, my apologies, commissioners. It was quite clear at this stage that the stock from Uwera's robbery was not in the house.
Emmanuel Mbense was a man that was unalived, and he was unalived because it was said that he got some stolen goods, or he stole goods, and the police officers had to go to his house to go and recover those goods. But in the process of the recovery, it just so happened that this man was unalived. He was tubed to his unaliving, and the man at the center of this tubing was none other than Wiandre Pretorius.
As I moved towards the door, I noticed two unknown Brakpan SAPS members leaving the house in haste. One of them was carrying a small black sports bag. I exited the house. I was joined outside in the garden next to the truck by Kobus and the others. Shortly after this, Wiandre and Kershaw Lee joined us. I asked whether a suspect talked, and Wiandre responded that he will never ever talk again. A discussion between the law enforcement members then took place as to how to deal with the scene. Kershaw Lee tried phoning a paramedic to declare the suspect dead. Wiandre approached me and informed me that he will phone General Feroz Khan to fix this. I in turn responded and said no, as this is Wiandre's problem. He responded and said it's all of us in this, and if anyone talks, he will go to prison for killing them.
So after this testimony, Witness D was unalived, and there were many suspects that came to the fore, and one of them was Mr. Wiandre Pretorius. And Mr. Wiandre Pretorius later on unalived himself. But after the arrest of Matiphandile Sotheni, there's a lot of revelations that have came forward, especially during the bail application that we heard yesterday. And I wanted to focus on the things that Matiphandile said as his defense and what the prosecution has put forward. The first thing that was highlighted by Matiphandile's defense was the issue of his personal circumstances, and that he's willing to pay a bail of 30,000 rands, and that he is reliant on his family, and that he's unemployed. All of that, of which I think that during the trial stage, this is one of the things that can make it easy for him to look like a suspect because he had all the motive to go and do this deed because he's unemployed and might need the money since he's saying that his family is reliant on him. And the fact that he says that he wants to pay a bail of 30,000 rands but he's unemployed and is reliant on his family, for me it's very shocking, especially when you think about the personal circumstances of other people whom we have heard who have done the unalivings. They will ask for 10,000 rands. Even Lirutla and Mkhwanazi, even Adams, a member of parliament, did not want, had a threshold. He could only pay a certain amount of money. But with Matiphandile, he's willing to pay 30,000 rands for someone who's unemployed, who's dependent on his family.
Pending warrants, protection orders, harassment orders, neither do I have any pending cases. I am willing to comply with such conditions as the above honorable court may wish to impose, including but not limited to days at which to report to my nearest police station, and any condition as the court deems fit. I am able to pay bail in the amount of 30,000 rands because I do not earn any money and I rely on my family and relatives to pay for legal fees. Further, since my detention, I have not been deriving an income. On exceptional circumstances, I joined the police in the year of 2005 on the 19th of September, and I was posted at Queenstown SAPS. After completing my training in 2008, I developed an interest to SAPS, and my application was successful, whereby I commenced training and finished my training in 2010 on the 19th of December. I was then transferred to the Pretoria unit.
The state's arguments regarding Matiphandile not being granted bail is that the state highlighted that Sotheni is a former police officer who joined the South African Police Services in 2005. Critically, in 2010, he joined the Elite Special Task Force, where the state spent roughly 1 million rand training him. The National Police spokesperson emphasized that he possesses specialized sniper-like skill, which allowed him to execute a clean job, using only a single shot to unalive Witness D. The state argued that while Matiphandile Sotheni was working as a bodyguard in the private sector for a wealthy family in Houghton, he took on the assassination of Van der Merwe as a lucrative side hustle. So the state has leveled 16 counts against him. These include unaliving, conspiracy to commit unaliving, 3 counts of attempted unaliving relating to firearm, which are relating to the family of Mr. Van der Merwe in that shooting of December, and multiple counts of unlawful possession of an unauthorized ammunition, including 125 rounds of 5 rifle ammunition and 31 rounds of 1 rifle ammunition found during his arrest. The state argues its case is robust and that giving bail to alleged assassin who silenced a key whistleblower who had exposed corruption within the Ekurhuleni Metropolitan Department and was set to give vital evidence in the upcoming criminal trial undermines the justice system. It was revealed that Marius Van der Merwe did inform people in a WhatsApp group that a black Suzuki Swift MP36 FSGP was following him, the very Suzuki that belongs to Dom Zodwa, who is a girlfriend of Mr. Matiphandile Sotheni. And these are the chats that were submitted to that group on the 3rd of December, that actually he's being followed by this very vehicle, the very vehicle that ended up being on the scene when Mr. Marius Van der Merwe was unalived. But Sotheni apparently happened to say he didn't do this, he's not involved.
It was established that prior to the murder, the deceased had in a WhatsApp group informed his friends that he had been followed by a black Suzuki Swift motor vehicle registration bearing registration number MP36 FSGP. During the investigation, it was established that prior to the murder, the deceased had in a WhatsApp group informed his friends that he had been followed by a black Suzuki Swift motor vehicle bearing registration number MP36 FSGP. The message that he sent to his friend reads as follows. Now, quote, open quote, MP36 FSGP found the car around my house last night and this morning numerous times. 3 dots, then 3 dots that were on the message, and then he writes 3 occupants, close quote. This message was sent on the 3rd of December 2025. The deceased further informed his friends that he had previously observed a similar vehicle near his residence, approached it in order to confront its occupant, whereupon the vehicle sped off.
And then in defense, Sotheni, through his legal representative, Tabisengi Mahoman, has pleaded complete innocence and is fighting for his release on bail by painting the state's case as incredibly weak. So these are some of the main arguments that are made by Sotheni's legal representative. He says that there's lack of knowledge and connection. Sotheni stated that in his affidavit that he's only learned about the unaliving of Witness D through television news report. He maintains that he was arrested roughly 3 months after the crime took place and has no idea how the police are linking him to the execution.
10.13, I wish to emphasize that based on the submissions here mentioned, the state's case against me is weak, and based on the evidence I have seen, the state will not be able to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that I be convicted of the offences as contained in the charge sheet and respective and discharged. In conclusion, the collective effect of my personal circumstances, the extremely weak case against me, continually suffered while under detention. I am going to delete the next line again, Your Worship.
He says that he then started speaking about Mr. Wiandre Pretorius. In his affidavit, Sotheni admitted that he did drive around the Brakpan area on several occasions with the late police informant Wiandre Pretorius, who later survived an ambush in early 2026 and subsequently committed unaliving. However, the defense strongly denied that these meetings had anything to do with the conspiracy plot to unalive Witness D. So with this one, guys, I wanted us to spend some time look at it. So this guy, you remember the Suzuki Swift that belonged to the girlfriend from what we're told, and it is said that they've been driving that vehicle and they've been on that vehicle for some time, moving around with that vehicle before the unaliving of Witness D. And what is worse is that on the day when Witness D was unalived, they switched off their phones, both of them. But that's the thing, they forgot a very important component, which is the component of what? The tracker, the car tracker. Remember that vehicle of the girlfriend of Mr. Sotheni had a tracker, and that is the one that made it easy for the police officers to then conclude that these people were moving around the Brakpan area when Witness D was unalived, and they went there to unalive Witness D actually.
Tracker data shows the same vehicle traveling towards Goud Street, that is where the deceased lived, and shortly before the shooting. The applicant, in his warning statement, admits being in the vicinity of the deceased's place of residence with Pretorius on the day of the shooting.
And that is because of that particular tracker. I don't know if the girlfriend of Sotheni did not tell Sotheni, because we heard that Sotheni has a girlfriend and also has a wife. I don't know if the girlfriend didn't tell Sotheni that the car had a tracker, but it seems like that is one of the very important components that were forgotten. But that's what happened, that they continued with their plot because of those connections that the police officers could make. Let alone the issue of them switching off the cell phone. That is another big red flag that shows that they might have had a plot to unalive Witness D.
It alleges that this conduct is indicative of prior planning and surveillance on the deceased before he was murdered. Cold data analysis reveals suspicious behavior on the part of both Pretorius and the applicant, that their cell phones were switched off while traveling to Brakpan in the same vehicle. This conduct is also indicative of a deliberate attempt to evade detection. The applicant, in his warning statement, admits to having traveled to Brakpan in the same vehicle as Pretorius.
They then went forward to speak about the issue of the AK-47 or the firearm that was used, the weapon. So Sotheni testified that he does not own multiple firearms or AK-47. He clarified that the only AK-47 he ever handled belonged to a former employer, Muhammad Sahid, whose employment he left back in October 2024, long before the unaliving occurred. The defense insisted that the prosecution has purely circumstantial links and will not be able to prove guilt beyond reasonable doubt, which they argue justified his release on bail. But that's the thing, guys. Another component, very important component that was mentioned during this bail application is the presence of Mkhwanazi. Because from what we are hearing from Matiphandile is that Wiandre did express concerns regarding the testimony at the Matlanga Commission of Witness D and said that he wanted to deal with this situation. But an important component that came up during this particular bail application is that actually Julius Mkhwanazi was at the scene.
There was a male person who died and later dumped into a dam. Wiandre further informed me that the body of that person was transported from the scene to the dam in a buggy. He also mentioned that EMPD Police Captain Brigadier Mkhwanazi was also at the crime scene where the male did later dump. Wiandre stopped at a car wash, left his vehicle there and jumped into my vehicle and we drove around. Wiandre was the one who was driving in my Suzuki Swift and I was seated on the passenger. We drove around while talking about all his stories, asking me if I knew anyone who could help him with his problem. Wiandre never specified the kinds of help that he needed, but I could tell that he wanted Marius van der Merwe killed. After driving around, we went back to the car wash and he jumped into his buggy. I also drove back to Pasonia. Wiandre phoned me again on the 2nd of September 2025 and requested me to come to Brakpan as he was under serious stress. Wiandre sent me a location and I followed the location to a residential place and he came on foot. He jumped into my Suzuki Swift driver's seat and I sat on the passenger seat. Wiandre and myself drove around the area while talking, and the main thing that he did not want to discuss his issues on the phone, but he preferred face-to-face talking.
And if you guys can remember very well, Julius Mkhwanazi denied that he was at the scene. He said that he came after everything was already done. He's not the one that even instructed Witness D to deal with the body.
They say they then concluded that they should call the chief Mkhwanazi.
That's what I'm saying.
And he arrived and he introduced himself and he directed that the body be dumped in the dam. My simple question is, if you were never there and you never saw him, why would he implicate you in something so serious? I mean, this is serious, dumping a human being's body in a dam. It's not like stealing money or stealing stones. It's a human being.
Yes. And I don't want to bring other elements. I'm denying it. I'm totally denying it.
But what does he have against you that he would single you out of everybody who was there and say it is you who said the body must be dumped?
It is because they told him so.
They told him to implicate you?
No, they told him that Chief Mkhwanazi will come to sort this thing out according to his statement. Then I'm coming in. They called me after, then I'm coming in.
But we also heard from Witness D's testimony at the Madlanga Commission that actually it was people like Julius Mkhwanazi who actually instructed him to go and dump the body at the dam. So now we have Wiandre Pretorius that is about to blow the whistle regarding the role of Julius Mkhwanazi. It cannot be that Witness D can say the version that Julius Mkhwanazi was at the scene when this whole thing happened. Then we have Matiphandile who says he heard from Wiandre that this whole thing happened. There's no way that two people can say almost a similar version, and then you want to tell me that these people are lying, you are not at the scene, there's nothing wrong.
JD Mkhwanazi said that we needed to throw the suspect's body into a mine shaft or dump it into a dam. As he said this, he looked at me. Wiandre then in turn informed me that I must take the body and dump it. They will show me where and that I should relax. Since my vehicle is marked, Wiandre said it won't attract any attention. I was directed by Wiandre at this stage where to park my bakkie next to the front door. That is as you're coming from the main gate.
If you guys have heard even recently that they're about to make arrests in connections to the Emmanuel Mbense case and they're about to conclude that particular case, I definitely think that Julius Mkhwanazi is in another trouble. It will be luck if he doesn't get arrested again now in connection to Emmanuel Mbense, because now we have Wiandre Pretorius' version through Matiphandile, and we also have Witness D's version. I don't know what you guys think about this whole revelations. For me, I am very, very shocked about what Matiphandile is willing to say, and the fact that he, in a way, is throwing Pretorius under the bus and says that he didn't know, he didn't have an idea. Yes, he was just in the car, and that at most cases they will go into the car, but he will always sit at the passenger seat and Wiandre Pretorius in the driver's seat, which makes it even more easier for the state to actually crack this case. That why is it that all the time this person who is a sniper is always sitting at the passenger seat and the other one is sitting on the driver's seat? And the way Matiphandile was unalived, you could see that from what we've heard from Aklenda Mate, that the person that unalived Witness D is someone that is very much skilled. Hence, Matiphandile is currently being the one who is actually implicated in this whole situation.
Told me that the following day Marius was going to appear. I told the investigator to say my heart is sore. I wish I knew earlier, because I didn't want this guy to come and talk publicly about this. If there was other way of giving this information to the commissioners, that way was going to be used, rather than he come and talk publicly about this.
Now, let us look into this podcast that was about to be released. This podcast that is actually revealing serious information regarding the role of Mkhwanazi, Matiphandile, and everyone else with regards to the unaliving of Witness D. So, from what we are hearing from the legal representatives of Mr. Wiandre Pretorius, is that he was about to talk. He was willing to talk. He was willing to say it all and actually speak specifically about the unaliving of Witness D and that case of Emmanuel Mbense.
Sy het gery, sy het haar vriendinne daar gevat na die toneel, na die vulstasie toe. En sy het hom daar gekry saam met die ou wat hom nou soen toe gebring het. Hy het uitgeklim, uit na die voertuig toe gestap gekom. Weet nie wie die deur oopgemaak, hy of sy nie, toe sê net van ek kan nie hierdie meer vat nie. En toe het hy die vuurwapen opgetel, die sneller gedruk, die skoot het nie afgaan nie, hy het weer gedruk en toe die tweede keer wat hy druk, toe skiet hy homself. Dis dit. Hierdie ou kon nie hierdie goed nie hanteer nie. Nie skuldgevoelens nie. Hierdie ou is die slagoffer van iets baie groters wat ek en jy van weet.
We know that Mr. Wiandre Pretorius was one of the people of interest from the IPID. We know that the IP told us that Wiandre is a person of interest and he's a person that they was at the forefront as a suspect in this particular case of Mr. Emmanuel Mbense. So this man was about to tell it all. He was about to blow the whistle with regards to what is going on. But now that's the thing. From the podcaster, we are hearing that he did say that something was going to happen to him, and that there's people that were actually after him, and that if he gives this evidence, there's people that are going to come for him.
Apparently, their fight originated from some information that she wanted to divulge, and he didn't agree with her. He just took the gun and blew himself. That ended up with me sitting with Hein, shit scared for what is happening here, because if you listen to my interview with him, he wasn't really forthcoming with a lot of information, although he has a lot of information. He doesn't really want to put it on the table because he's scared that someone might come for him.
Right now, the question of who might be, it's very open-ended, because we know that there was a hit list that was revealed and anyone might have the motive. But I want to put it to you, I'm not saying that is the case, and I'm not saying that that is true, but the way this whole thing is so connecting makes you wonder, could it be that he was talking about Matiphandile? Because if Matiphandile indeed is the one who was the sniper, he was about to incriminate him in this whole situation. He was about to expose him and tell on him. I don't know if he was about to turn state witness. He wanted to turn state witness. But from what we are hearing from his legal representative, as well as a podcaster, he was about to tell it all with regards to what happened to Marius van der Merwe, as well as the Brakpan case of Mr. Emmanuel Mbense. So I want you to ponder on this thought and ask yourself, who might it be who was trying to actually silence Mr. Pretorius? Because we also heard from this particular documentary that the girlfriend of Mr. Pretorius told him that she was about to do something. She was going to do something. I don't know if she was also about to blow the whistle or what is it that she was planning to do. Then Mr. Pretorius said, I can't take it anymore, and then unalived himself there and then in front of the girlfriend. So that in and of itself makes you ask a lot of questions, because it looks like both of them, they wanted to talk. But that's the thing. It's not clear what is it that they wanted to talk about. But from the developments that we are hearing now, from the bail application of Matiphandile, we know that he told Matiphandile regarding the role of Mkhwanazi in the Emmanuel Mbense case. We also know that Matiphandile is throwing Wiandre under the bus. He's blaming him for everything. Obviously, the question remains, who then might have unalived Witness D if Wiandre had a motive, but it seems that Matiphandile is saying that, but I didn't do anything. I just don't understand. Why would you say that the person who was with you on the night when Witness D was unalived, you're saying that that person did that thing, you are not involved, and then in the same breath of you saying that this person was with you? Guys, that doesn't make sense. I just think that Sotheni is in serious trouble. And with the way he's arguing his case, I think his legal representatives are failing him dismally. It's like he's sneaking up on himself. He's saying that I have a role and that, okay, probe more, at least probe more, bring more evidence. I just hope that they're not gonna release him on bail because of what we are hearing now from this podcaster. We are hearing from the legal representative and what he himself has said through his legal representative regarding the arguments that they have raised that are either substantiating or they are against the bail application, against him being granted bail. I don't know what you guys think about this whole situation. And I don't know what you guys think about this podcaster as well as this legal representative. Do you think that they're actually telling the truth and that Mr. Wiandre Pretorius was about to blow the whistle? And do you think that even if he was about to blow the whistle, would he have told the entire truth or would he have not? But I think that there's just a lot that was going on in his mind. He wanted to talk, but at the same time, he didn't want to talk. I don't know what you guys make of that. Let me hear what you think. Let me hear your thoughts. Otherwise, guys, I'll see you on my next upload. Bye.